That's to come after the news with Lisa McCormick.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
Winds of almost 120 miles per hour have been recorded in Ireland as a result of Storm Ophelia. 3 people have died and thousands of homes and businesses in the Republic, Northern Ireland and Wales have been left without power. Joel Hardins from the Coast Guard in Holyhead.
Taking selfies and photos of the dramatic waves is a popular thing, but equally it's one of the most dangerous things that you can do in this kind of weather. Playing chicken with waves is extremely dangerous. It's a little known fact that 6 inches of water going at the right speed is enough to take you off your feet.
Theresa May's held what she's called constructive talks over dinner in Brussels with the EU's chief Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier, and the President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker. They say they've agreed to accelerate talks aimed at striking a deal over the months ahead. One man has died and 2 others have been injured in a stabbing outside Parsons Green Underground station in London. Police were called to the scene just after 7:30 this evening. The company co-founded by Harvey Weinstein's in talks to sell the bulk of its assets to a private equity firm. The Hollywood producer has been accused of sexually harassing or assaulting a number of women over 3 decades. And some flights to UK airports were diverted earlier because of reports of smoke smells. The Met Office says it could be because of southerly winds carrying dust from the Sahara and smoke from wildfires in Portugal. That's the news. Time now for the sport.
In this evening's sports headlines, Anthony Joshua has had a change of opponent for the defence of his world heavyweight titles in Cardiff a week on Saturday. Kubrat Pulev has withdrawn with an injury and is replaced by Carlos Takam of France. Leicester remain in the Premier League relegation zone after being held to a 1-1 draw by West Brom. Riyad Mahrez equalised after Nasser Chadli had put the visitors ahead. Newcastle United have been put up for sale by owner Mike Ashley, who wants to have sold the club by Christmas. Meanwhile, League One Wigan Athletic, who won the FA Cup in 2013, are believed to be on the brink of a £20 million takeover from investors based in Hong Kong. You can see the draw for the first round of the FA Cup on the BBC Sport website. Up next on 5 Live Sport is the Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy podcast.
5 Live Sports Specials. Available now. P1, Lewis and the Art of Qualifying.
You do your 1 out lap and you've got that 1 lap to perfect and to deliver. And I love that challenge.
Having recently seen Lewis Hamilton break the all-time record for pole positions, Jenny Gow takes a detailed look at the role of the driver, the team and the car in delivering that all-important qualifying lap.
He does no mistake and drives the car right to the limit in every meter of the circuit.
He was just immense when it came to qualifying. He could really pull it out when you thought that you had him beat.
P1, Lewis and the Art of Qualifying. Available now on the BBC iPlayer radio app.
Three, that's a magic number. Yes, it is. It's the magic number.
What does it all mean?
Hello and welcome to Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy. That's me, Matthew Syed. Some more meaty topics. We're going to be putting combinations of 2 teams together, including Freddie's Ashes squads and Manchester City and Manchester United. Then we're going to reveal what sporting replicas would build in our gardens. Remember, you can use the hashtag FredSavSide to suggest future topics you'd like to hear us talk about. But let's get started straight in with topic number 1. We're going to be putting together combinations of sports teams. It'll be controversial when we move on to football, but Freddie, you're going to create your optimum Ashes team by combining the England team from 2005 when you were at the summit and today's team.
Yes, and this is one which will have people talking. You get asked a lot. With the risk of dining out on 2005 yet again, but we're all doing it. I'll get it another 3 or 4 years out of it. But everyone says who would get in the side now from this current side and who wouldn't and vice versa.
Great debate.
Brilliant.
And they're going to Australia soon and we'll see how we go. So I just go into it?
Yeah.
I'll just go into it. Right, number one, opening the batting. The finest batsman I have ever played with.
Marcus Trescothick.
Yes, Marcus Trescothick. He is brilliant.
Fantastic.
The one thing about Marcus Trescothick was if he scored runs, England usually won. The way in which he scored them, he took the opposition on, he took it to them. belted him from pillar to post. A great lad in the dressing
So
room
Cook's
as well.
got to be number 2 then.
Can I just ask you on
this team, Rob?
Yeah,
Yeah, all right. I'm not asking for conjecture.
Can I just ask you on
Cricket, this is
Trescothick?
me.
Why do you think he's a bit underrated?
He possibly, but not underrated by the people that he played
Yeah.
with. I think subsequently when he went home from a tour and talks about mental health, I think that's overshadowed him a little bit as a cricketer. People tend to remember that rather than this lad who was unbelievable.
Was he a nice guy in the dressing room
One
as
of the
well?
best.
Was he?
One of the best. Lovely, lovely man. Worked with him this year on the T20. Spending time with him was just brilliant. He's still playing. He still plays at Somerset. Just signed another extension on his contract at 41.
What love of the game?
Yeah, and he's playing it second team and things. It's bizarre. So Marcus Trescothick, attacking batsman, opening up with him. A fellow left-hander, plays very differently. Alistair Cook.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Statistically, England's best ever Test batsman. The one thing I got right as an England captain, the one thing I actually got right was picking Alistair Cook to play. Level-headed.
Yeah.
Just churns his runs out. He's had his problems, but he's had such a long career. People are quick to get on Alistair's back when he's not scoring runs, but just a dream to have around as well.
So them two would open the band instead of who, but names like who could have been in there.
Well, you look at the side now, Andrew Strauss opened the batting.
No Strauss.
And
Straussy.
but he was brilliant, Strauss.
No Strauss.
Brilliant. No, I won't get a job at the ECB.
I was going to say.
I won't get a job at- forget it, Strauss. You're out.
So Strauss, no.
They've got a bit of a pickle, haven't they, at the minute with the opening batsman position. They've got Storman, who I rate, but he's not going to get in.
I'll get in.
But
Just on Cook, you said you brought him into the team. Do you think he changed a lot? What was he like as a fresh-faced youngster coming into the squad?
Well, the one thing I remember about him, Marcus Trescothick went home from India in really fast. It happened. Nobody knew what had gone on. We're looking at people to bring in. Alistair Cook had been around the side a little bit against Pakistan on tour, didn't play, and he was in the West Indies on an England Air tour, and he flew back about 48 hours, getting flights, landed on the morning or the night before the test started. And Duncan Fletcher wanted to pick Matthew Pryor. And I said, no, Alistair Cook's playing. I put my foot down for once. I want Alistair Cook playing. And he asked why. I've never seen him play. I've never seen him play. I've seen him in the nets.
You had a gut feel for him?
I had a gut feel as a lad, at that age, at 22, whatever he was, maybe even younger.
Yeah.
He was so impressive and the type of lad I wanted in the side. And he went out, the first innings got 40, second innings got 100.
Wow.
Too easy.
Wow.
So that's an opening lineup. Trescothick, Cook.
You writing this down?
Yeah, number 3. Yeah, thanks, Rob. It's taken over.
All right.
Number 3.
Oof.
Yep.
What's between? Some big number 3s.
Do you know what? The main thing is, it's not who it's between, it's should he bat at number 3.
Right.
And I think, yes, he's amazing. He is now the current Test captain of the England team, Joe Root. Now, this lad, he amazes me. The way in which he goes about his business, the way in which he bats, he goes out there, he takes the opposition on. You look at the scoreboard, he's on 40 or 40 balls and he's not done out.
Yep.
And
Won a ball.
Won a ball. Well done, Rob.
Mathematics. Genius.
The one thing I really like about him is every time he plays, he looks like he's having the best day of his life.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories from Neil Fairbrother, who looks after him, and he was going to Lords and he phones him up saying, I can't believe it, I'm going to play for England at Lords.
Still now?
Yeah, he loves it.
Wow, amazing.
But my only...
Reservation?
Not a reservation, but where I'm stuck a little bit is, do I make him captain?
Yeah.
Because number 4, I'm putting in Michael Vaughan. Michael Vaughan. England captain, played under him. Not sure he should be captain in this side.
Is he a number 4? Was he a number 4?
He is now.
What was he?
Well, he used to bat in the top 4.
Did he?
He batted 3 for a bit. He opened the batting. He's batted 4. He's a brilliant player. He had that tour of Australia where nobody did anything. He scored lots and lots of runs. Scored runs in 2005. Led the team so well. And Joe Root is actually from the same club. Phones him up for advice.
Does he?
So I don't know which one to go as captain. I'm going to come back to that, whether I go Root or Vaughan.
Just one thing on Root. I think it's a really interesting point psychologically that he goes and plays cricket under pressure with a sense of joy and adventure and courage. How do you think it's difficult to get young people into that frame of mind with all the scrutiny from the media, the consequences if things go wrong? How does he get into that place?
I think the only way he can do that is remember the reasons he started playing cricket in the first place. And as a kid, you grow up watching international cricket. You watch playing for England. And as a kid, you think, how good must that be? That must be brilliant.
Yeah.
And he's managed to take that through. Even when he walks out to bat, every time he walks, he's got purpose. He's a bit of a funny walker, but there's a real spring in his step, isn't it? He's up for it.
Do you know, imagine if Ramprakash and Hick had that attitude.
Graham Hick was good.
You know what I mean?
Amazing.
They looked so fearful on the crease. If they could have played with that liberation.
I had a conversation with Graham Hick, 'cause I'm a big fan of Graham. And
he's a great guy.
Great fella. He's not the most exciting, but he's a lovely lad. And I had a chat with him at the end of his career in Sri Lanka. And we sat at the bar, I was having a few beers, and he was telling me about his career. And looking back, the one thing he says he wished he'd have done was being authentic all the way through.
Exactly.
He said he got so much advice, told he couldn't play the short ball, told how to stand, told where to play. He could play the short ball, he could do anything.
Yeah.
And he said at the end of it, he wished that
It's interesting.
he would have done it his way. Failed or succeeded as him.
Yeah.
Because now he's got them unanswered questions.
I think authenticity is so an important part of high performance. I think it's difficult to be authentic when the pressure comes in. But
Well, here comes to my next one then. Love him or loathe
number
him.
5.
He is authentic. It's Big Kev. It's the Big Show. Kevin Peterson, ladies and gentlemen, coming to a ground near you soon. We're not quite sure what kit he's going to be in, but he's going to be there. And things will happen. Kevin Peterson.
What if he misbehaved in the build-up to the match?
I can handle that. I can handle Kev misbehaving. I'd be more worried if he's behaving. There's be something that's wrong. But Kevin...
What a player.
Oh, he came into the side, the one-day side in South Africa. I went home and I watched him on telly score 100 after 100. The crowd in South Africa in the one-days were standing round, not clapping him, turning his back on him. He then came into the one-day squad before Australia, belted them round everywhere. And then... in the first test of 2005 was a turning point for the team. Kevin scored runs nobody else did. And I think that gave us belief in which, subsequently what's happened after, I'm not bothered, but as a player I want him.
Do you think, this is difficult, psychologically, do you think there are flaws in the Peterson character?
What do you reckon? Yeah, of course there are.
But there's an argument.
There's flaws in everyone. I think...
But are they so deep that it takes a miracle of leadership to galvanise him in the right way?
I don't think it's a miracle of leadership. I think it's a miracle to solve them.
Yeah.
But the thing with Kevin is, for all his bravado and all this up front and at you, I think underneath there's quite a little bit of insecurity. And that's his way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to judge him on that. Fine.
Before we go anywhere else,
Yeah.
he won't put himself in it.
Oh, I have. Don't worry about that, son. Bennu? Stokes? Really?
That's Robbie. Number 6.
Number 6. Oh, there's been talking. Should he be playing? Shouldn't he be playing? Ben Stokes, just brilliant. Brilliant. I'm not going to get in. We did what happened off the pitch last week. This is just about him as a cricketer.
Yep.
He's just brilliant. He could bat number 3 in any team in the world. His bowling's getting better and better all the time. Fielding, unbelievable. But he's got that quality where I don't think he'd ever be a captain or ever be a good captain. But through the way in which he is, the way in which he plays, he leads. He leads the team.
Do you think this concept of a talisman is meaningful? That you have somebody like Stokes and his bravado and courage, it can be contagious. Other people feed off it. It grows the team.
Because I realise that as a player. I realise that my mood could bring a dressing room up, but it could also bring one down.
Yep.
And that's something that Ben has got to be aware of all the time.
Interesting.
So Ben Stokes, brilliant. Now the next one is the wicketkeeper. I feel I should put Geraint Jones in, because I love Geraint Jones.
Yep.
And I batted with him in 2005. We turned matches. The runs he scored were important. He was a decent glove man. Mm-hmm. But there's one lad playing in the England side now who I think is just brilliant. Johnny Burstow. This lad, He came into the side originally. Everyone said he couldn't do this. He couldn't play the short ball. He goes away to Yorkshire, scores runs after runs after runs in every form of the game. Comes back in the England team. Look at Johnny Burstow's runs when he scores them. He scores tough runs. He scores important runs. Puts the side in a position where they can win or get them out of a bit of a hole. And the way in which he does it is brilliant. And he's still not number one on the team sheet for T20s, for one-day internationals. For me, Johnny Burstow all day long.
Okay.
And then the next one, coming in, batting out of position.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to put myself in.
You have to.
You got to.
But I want to play in this team. I want to be in this team. I want to play with these lads.
Go on, speak about yourself.
Well, defy logic. You know, for an overweight ginger, unathletic.
With giganticism.
Giganticism, as Robbie says.
Yeah.
Everything backing against it. Growing up in Preston.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play cricket. And I wasn't as good as these guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not after you saying that, but I had a way of doing it, and I survived on bravado, and I had a good year in 2005, so I'm just putting myself in there. I'm going to bat out a position for the good of the team.
Do you think that you grew on the big occasion?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Rachel.
The Viagra front page story in the Sun was a giveaway.
Probably doubled in size.
But you like the big stage, the big occasion. The Ashes, the ultimate for any England cricket player playing against Australia in the Ashes is bigger than anything else.
And I think for that reason, that's why I put myself in. Because I don't want to miss out.
You are in it.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. But I'm going to dust over me.
Number 9.
So, number 9. I can't believe I'm batting 8, though.
Is that 8? I thought it was 9.
Number 8. I'm batting. I'd be gutted.
So we're into the tail now.
Your top heavy batting. I think
but we've got 2 bowlers.
2 great
in there.
bowlers already.
We've got me
of course.
and Stokes, and Joe Root can twiddle a few.
Yeah.
Now, the next one, I'm going to put a spinner in. I need a spinner.
Yeah.
Scott,
And
I know what you mean.
At the minute, Moeen Ali is brilliant. He's got better and better and better. He comes in at number 8, he scores runs, but I don't need that in this team. I don't need Moeen Ali's off spin, and I don't need a batsman at number 9.
Yeah.
What I need a bowler who's going to control things for me. When the seamers need a rest, when there's a bad end to bowler, I need someone in the first innings to plug an end up. Just go 1 and over, 1.5 and over, and come into the game second innings. And the bloke who did this so well, without recognition, being called all the time, he's negative, he's this, that. Whoever said that, go and do your own work. Because Ashley Giles, to me, was one of the most important players in that team. We had 4 seamers in
King of Spain.
King of Spain. They printed his name wrong on a mug at Warwickshire. Should have said King of Spin.
Yeah.
And they put King of Spain.
That's how it was.
True story. So Ashley Giles for me was so important for myself, Steve Harmison, Matthew Hoggard, and Simon Jones.
Yeah.
And in the dressing room, brilliant.
Ashley Giles.
Great lad. He scores runs, he gets runs when it counts.
Yeah.
So Ashley Giles in at 9. Number 9.
10.
England's best ever bowler, the Burnley Express.
Jimmy Anderson.
How can a man from Burnley end up with 500 Test wickets? You say coming from Preston defies belief, and I was all right. But this lad's a great of the game. Yeah. He learnt his trade at the back of Turf Moor. This is just bonkers. I remember him, he came in as a 17-year-old to Lancashire in the nets. This young, quick bowler hitting everyone on the head and in the ribs, thinking, how good's this? And every level he went into, he started to excel as a young kid. And it's not been without his problems. He tried to change his action, do this, that and the other. But now Jimmy's settled to what Jimmy does best. Absolutely brilliant.
How do you explain his longevity? How did he stay at that level for so long?
You look at his physique. You look at him. You look at his physique. He's wiry, he's strong, but not carrying weight. His desire as well.
Did that desire translate into the way he trained and prepared as well?
Yeah, he likes a drink. Don't get me wrong, but when he's on it, he is on it. He trains hard. He practices hard. He's always thinking about bowling. You came round the week to our house, didn't you, for Sunday lunch? Yeah. And you commented on it. Glenn Chappell, Jimmy Anderson, Robbie Savage, and
I said to Fred, we were sitting there. It
was like the worst come down with me ever.
Honestly, yeah, Sunday lunch, right? All the kids were playing sport in the garden.
Who cooked?
Rachel, his wife.
I did the meat.
Yeah, he did the meat. Fantastic.
What was it?
My mum went round. It was brilliant.
What was the roast? What was it?
Beef. Just did it a little bit over. Yeah. It should have been a bit pinker, but it was all right.
Brilliant.
Wow.
They're all sitting there. I said to Fred, so the next day I said to Fred, I can't believe Glenn Chapwell and Jimmy were sitting at the kitchen table, have a couple of beers, and all they were doing every time I went to the kitchen, because I was like up and down, they were talking cricket, and Glenn was up doing bowling actions, Jimmy was doing the same, and all they done for 3 or 4 hours, I'm not lying, was talked cricket. It was unbelievable.
And Robbie was at other end talking Love Island. Just goes to show.
False tan and highlights with
it all the time.
Honestly, all the time.
In the dressing room, would you have certain players whose passion for the game was so much that was the regular time? I mean, you've mentioned Anderson. Was that true of other players in England?
Trescothick.
Same.
Trescothick, the ultimate pro. And I felt for Marcus a little bit because, you know, he's not built, he's not ripped, he's not got the abs and all that. But he works so hard. Yeah. He was practising all the time. Marcus Trescothick.
This is a hell of a team, right?
Yeah.
So we got the last one.
Oh, obviously, it's the England and Wales cricket board. It's got to be a Welsh guy in there.
Who?
Simon Jones. Why have my voice gone high?
It's turned into a soprano.
You know what? I would love to...
Mate, come on. He swung the ball like I've never seen.
It's England and Wales cricket, boy. It's just being PC. Anyway.
Don't put your mate in. No, you can't put your mate in.
For me, it's tricky because I'm thinking about who could play...
Who was there?
The reason I've not put Darren Gough in...
Gough?
He didn't play in 2005.
Yeah.
But I love Goughy. Brilliant.
Fair point.
Brilliant Goughy. The other one I could put in is Simon Jones. Not got him.
Broad,
England's second highest wicket taker of all time.
Good for your mate.
Stuart Broad's not in. Matthew Hoggard in the top 10 England wicket takers. Not in.
Good for your mates, yeah.
What?
Good for your mates.
Who is it then?
I don't know. You got lots of mates.
Who is it?
It's not Army.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Do you know what? For this very reason, Stephen Harmison. One, as a team man, he should have spent more time on himself than he did on other people. He was always there for everyone else. Should have spent more time on himself. A little bit more selfish. As a bowler, I tell you what, I've never seen anything like it. I used to stand at slip to this lad when he was on it. And you can have your Ambroses and your Walshes and all these people. Give me Steve Harmison any day of the week. I have seen him torment people. I have seen him put fear in the eyes of the world's best bowlers. And like Marcus Trescothick...
Best batsman.
Yeah. Sorry, his batsman. Like Marcus Trescothick, for these same reasons, if he's bowling well, England win. If Marcus Trescothick scoring runs, England win. And being an all-rounder, and we've got a few in that middle order. If Trez starts off like he does, then our job in the middle is so much easier. If Harmy starts off the way in which we know he can do, my job coming on first change, Ben Stokes' job, is so much easier.
What a team that is.
So that is my team.
And so let's run through it. Trescothick,
Cook, Vaughan,
Root.
Which either way around. Peterson, Stokes, Burstow, Flintoff, Giles, Anderson, Harmison. And I've got to make a decision on the captain.
Yep.
There's no Strauss, Hussein.
Hussein?
Gough.
I don't want someone to drinks. I can get my own drink out of the fridge, master. So, do you know what?
Captain.
You're
going Root, I feel it.
I don't think I can.
Oh, you're going Vaughan.
Yeah, I think because I played under him, I have to. He got the best out of me as a player.
Let me just ask you briefly on how important is chemistry in a team environment like that? You've got a group of totally different characters. I mean, real variation.
What's a team that is?
But a brilliant team. Wonderful complementary strengths as well. How important is the chemistry and a tour to Australia?
Yeah, I think the one thing you need from a team is you need that togetherness. And I accept that looking at all these people, there are some strong characters in that dressing room. You got Peterson, you've got Vaughan, you got Stokes, you got myself. So I don't care if everybody don't get on. I'm not after like the world's best dinner party. I'm not on about holding hands and singing. I'm on about playing cricket. So some of them will get on better than others. Some of them won't even speak. Some of them won't do anything together. But as long as when they walk out on that pitch, we're all together, which, looking at them names, we will be.
You're giving the talk before they go out for the first test. What do you say?
I don't have to say anything. There's nothing I need to say to them. And I appreciate that everyone will have their different motives. Kevin Peterson's motives for doing well might be different to Michael Vaughan's and Ashley Giles. I don't care, as long as the motives are to do well. let's crack on and just we'd hammer anyone that team.
Did Graham Swan not play in the 2005? No.
No.
He
was
Graham
good.
Swan.
Yeah.
He wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Big name.
I thought that's what you were going to say when you went for Giles.
Graham Swan.
Ashley Giles every day of the week.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There you go. What a team.
What was the one that you struggled with most leaving out? Who was the person that it hurt you to leave out?
Strauss is a big one, though.
I'll get over that.
Hoggett?
I'm really well with Strauss. The hardest ones for me were the bowlers. Yeah. Because I appreciate there are better bowlers probably individually than the 4 we played in 2005.
Yeah.
But collectively, that was our strength.
Yeah.
Not as individuals, but a collective strength.
Well, that's brilliant. If you want to suggest alternative people in the lineup, do use the hashtag FredSavSide. Be fascinating to see the views out there. Now, Robbie, what are you going to combine?
Just quickly, then we'll do a quick. Will be quick. Manchester City and Manchester United. For me, it's a 2-horse race for the title this year.
This is a current squad.
They play each other in December. If everybody was fit in both squads, what would the combined team be? Yeah, of the Manchester 11.
Can I just throw in as well?
Of course you can.
Who would manage it?
It's a very good point, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Because mine, I just thought off the top of my head.
Yeah.
David Bumble Lloyd
would manage yours.
No, there's nobody else even in the running.
Really?
Nobody in the running. David Lloyd will get the best out of every one of them blokes. I don't need a coach. I don't need someone to tell me how to hold a bat. I need someone to motivate and speak and be passionate and be himself. David Lloyd.
Right, brilliant. And I agree with that, Andrew.
And actually, it makes it really interesting for this one.
Yeah.
Guardiola or Mourinho.
Oh, yes.
So on the Manchester, the best team out of the 2 squads in Manchester, I think one of them's going to win the league. I think it's a 2-horse race. Give them one of the title now. I'm not sure if it's United or City, but in terms of squads, who would be in my starting 11? Right, current squads. First and foremost, David De Gea, best goalkeeper in the Premier League. City have had problems with goalkeepers, spent X amount of pounds. They've got Bravo, they've got Edison. Edison's brave, good keeper, but I'm not sure he beats De Gea. So David De Gea.
What happened to him with short sleeves? Is he still about?
That was Bravo, yeah. He's on the bench, yeah, for City. Then you've got, what do I play? I'm going to play 4 at the back. What formation? With this team I'm going to put out, doesn't matter what system we play, we'll beat anybody. So, at the back, right back, choice between Valencia, Kyle Walker. I'm going to go Kyle Walker. Yeah. I think just over Valencia is athleticism. Brilliant.
They're both good at bombing forward.
Both good at getting forward. Defensively, both aren't great. Yeah. But I think the modern day fullback, up and down with the protective midfielders, I'm going for Kyle Walker. Centre halves, if he can stay fit, Vincent Kompany, he'll be my captain, he'll be my leader. He's had lots of injury problems, can't get a run of games. Yep. But as we're doing, the best team of the 2 current squads, Vincent Kompany plays centre half along with Eric Bailly. Bailly done well since he's come into Manchester United. Them 2 together would be a very good combination. And left back. Left back's a huge problem. I've got Mendy, the new signing, but he's out for 9 months, so I'm going to rule him out.
Okay.
He would probably be in the starting 11, but as he's out for 9 months, no. Then you've got Blind, you've got Ashley Young, you've got Luke Shaw. Because there's a 4 at the back, I'm going to go Ashley Young, which might be a bit surprising to people. His Jose Mourinho seeing him fit enough to give him the captain's armband on games. He's got great energy, so I'm going to go Ashley Young, and that might be.
What about the defensive ability of him?
Yeah, it was a big question, but Jose Mourinho, who knows more about football than me, seems to trust him at left back. And Jose Mourinho we'll come on to later.
Would Pep Guardiola trust him at left back?
I think he would as well, because the way his team plays, he likes people who are expansive and get forward.
He takes risks.
I'm going Ashley Young as left back. Then I'm going to Diamond in midfield.
Yep.
I'm going Matic. Fred Diamond, so it's like a diamond.
I get what a diamond is, Rob. You can do the Christmas tree if you want. Don't worry about this, Robbie Savage.
There you go.
Hang on a minute. A footballer explaining something to someone. I know what a diamond is. If you want to hear more on our team combinations, please download the podcast.
Thank you for listening. You can download the podcast for extended versions of all the topics we covered on this week's show at the 5 Live website and all the usual podcast places. The whole of the first series is also available to download. Please use the hashtag FredSavSide to get in touch through the week and post your ideas about the mixed teams that we discussed earlier for sure. We'd love to read those. If you could leave a review on iTunes and give us a rating, that would be great. We'll be back next week at the same time. But for now, from all of us, goodbye.
Thank you, Matthew. Before 11, we'll have the latest on Storm Ophelia, which has left hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses without power. And we'll check in with the Met Office at 11:15 tonight to get you an up-to-date forecast. A lawyer will explain the strength of Colin Kaepernick's case against the NFL for allegedly colluding to keep him out of a job as a quarterback. And we'll speak to the woman who's created the internet sensation of chinning. If you don't know what chinning is, you will do at 11:25 tonight.
First for news and more live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
And I'll give you a clue. You don't do it to someone. You do it yourself. All right? 10:30 on Monday night. Phil Williams here with you on 5 Live and the Late News Hour.
And the main news on 5 Live. 3 people die in Ireland after winds of up to 120 miles an hour hit the west of the British Isles.
And in sport, Leicester snatch a late draw with West Brom in the Premier League.
On the 5 Live website, David Ginola talking about recovering from his heart attack last year.
This is BBC 5 Live.
Start you off with the most up-to-date BBC News Bulletin on 5 Live and Stuart Clarkson.
3 people have died in the Republic of Ireland after a day of strong winds brought by Storm Ophelia. Thousands of homes and businesses have been without power there too, as well as in Northern Ireland and Wales. Theresa May and the European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker have agreed that the pace of Brexit negotiations should be accelerated in the coming months. They've had talks over dinner in Brussels tonight, which they described in a joint statement as constructive and friendly. A university academic has admitted more than 130 abuse offences, including blackmailing people into degrading sexual acts online. Matthew Folder, who's 28 and from Birmingham, committed crimes against more than 50 victims over 7 years. And tributes have been paid to the comedian Sean Hughes, who's died aged 51. He was best known for his appearances on Nevermind the Buzzcocks and Sean's Show, as well as his stand-up comedy and a role in Coronation Street. Let's get the sport tonight with Shabnam Yunus-Jewell.
Thank you, Stuart. Good evening. Riyad Mahrez scored his first goal of the season to rescue a point for champions Leicester, who remain in the Premier League's bottom 3 after a 1-1 draw at home with West Brom. An impressive free kick from Nasser Chadli had put the visitors ahead in the second half, but they conceded late on. Newcastle United Football Club has been put up for sale by owner Mike Ashley, who's hoping to do a deal by Christmas. A statement has been released saying Newcastle United requires a clear direction and a path to a bright and successful future. Hyde United, who play in the 8th tier of football, will host League One team MK Dons in the first round of the FA Cup next month, while Truro City, the first Cornish side in the first round proper for 48 years, have been drawn at home to Charlton Athletic from League One. Full details of all 40 ties are on the BBC Sport website. And Anthony Joshua will not defend his IBF and WBA heavyweight world titles against Kubrat Pulev, who has withdrawn after picking up a shoulder injury in sparring. Joshua will now face Cameroonian French Carlos Takam at Cardiff's Principality Stadium later this month.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, online, smartphone and tablet.
Look at the weather. Ex-Hurricane Ophelia continues to bring strong winds to northern and western parts tonight, remaining wet in those areas as well. The winds moving from Northern Ireland and Wales into northern England and Scotland through the night. Drier elsewhere, some clear skies and less windy. Tomorrow, wet and windy again for many areas. Both the rain and the wind easing through the day, though. Temperatures up to 16 degrees tomorrow.
The best live sport. The Champions League.
Europe's elite club competition.
On 5 Live. On Tuesday nights, we'll have live commentary of Real Madrid against Spurs. Kick-off 7:45. Plus updates from Manchester City versus Napoli and Maribor Liverpool. You can also download the EuroLeague's podcast for our roundup of the biggest football stories. The Champions League. This is your football station. This is 5 Live.
The Late News Hour
with Phil Williams on 5 Live.
10:33 Monday night. Good evening. Welcome to a new week of Late News Hours. We will start with Storm Ophelia. 3 people have died in the Republic of Ireland as Ophelia continues to sweep across the country. At least 18,000 homes without power in Northern Ireland, we're told, whilst in the Republic of Ireland, that number increases to 360,000. Police in Scotland say the storm has now hit Dumfries and Galloway, and in England, police have closed roads in Barrow, close to the football ground there. We'll hear from those affected tonight, and at 11:15 we'll cross to the Met Office for an up-to-date forecast for you on where Ophelia is heading. But we'll start this evening with Mary Murphy, who lives on Beer, which is a tiny island off the southwestern tip of Ireland, which has been battered by all sides. And Mary, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
So,
we're in the dark here. We've no power.
No power, and I
No
understand.
power since early morning.
And you run a post office as well.
I do, but I can't. We need power to work the computer.
So what time did you have to close that today?
We were told we could close at 12 o'clock today, but I kept the shop open for a little bit longer in case anybody wanted anything. But it's calming now, thank God. But it was really awful here earlier. Awful.
Can you describe it?
Just scary. It was absolutely blowing a gale, and very, very scary. Everything was rattling and shaking, and the sea was going mad. It was